Now it's time to apply our heatsink paste to both processors. Now, what kind of paste should you use? Most of the folks in this industry suggest that you stay away from silicone-based heatsink paste that you'll find for $3–4 a tube. Small little tubes like this is just a 5-gram tube that you can find at places like Best Buy, but you want to stay away from the stuff that's all silicone. It doesn't conduct the heat the way we want. You want to get a type of thermal paste that is high in silver content. And whether you use, now this actually is just a $10 tube that you can get at places like Best Buy, a company called Dynex, and this is probably the closest to the Sony thermal paste that I've seen, just in the regular over-the-counter market, easy to buy in stores. A lot of places we use a really top quality stuff called Arctic Silver, and you'll see people online talking about that. Arctic Silver is a great paste, extremely high in silver content. It's very, very thick. You'll see how thin this paste is when we apply it. The Arctic Silver paste is very, very thick, and if you do buy that, don't panic when you open it and you think, well, I might have bought an old tube, it's all dried out. No, it's extremely thick, and you'll apply it the same way we're going to apply the Dynex paste, but it takes a little bit more patience. It's like spreading a very, very thick, almost like spreading modeling clay. And after you spread a little bit, it sort of loosens up a little bit. But the Dynex paste goes on very easily. What we're going to do is we're just going to apply a very small bead to one of the 4 sides of each processor. I'm trying not to squeeze too hard here and cover the whole processor. I'm going to make one little bead on one edge of each processor. Don't go crazy with this stuff. You don't need as much as you think you need. That is enough. Now, most of these tubes will come with either basically it's sort of like a credit card, just a piece of plastic for spreading, or if you have an old credit card, you can use that. And all we're going to do is take the edge of the card. This is the card that came with the Dynex paste. I actually cut it down to be probably about 3/4 of the normal width, because now it fits the processors a little bit better. And all we're going to do is spread that paste evenly across the surface, like you're frosting a cake, with a very thin layer of frosting. Very thin, very even, as best you can. You want to cover 100% of the surface of this processor. Again, we're trying best we can. I've used this card so many times it's starting to get some grooves in it, but we want to get as best we can a nice smooth layer so that when we put the heatsink down here, we won't have any air gaps. Now, that was the graphics processor that we're really concerned about. Now we're going to do the CPU. To do the first processor, the second one is a lot easier to do. You want to get full coverage, nice smooth coating, best you can. Don't panic. Again, this isn't NASA. We're just, trying to get as even and smooth a coat as we can so we get good coverage and good contact. Okay. Alright, and there we go. The heatsink paste has been applied in a very thin layer, very thin layer. Remember, we just put one bead down one side of each of the processors, spread it across nice and evenly. You can almost see through it. You almost see the processors through that. And now we will reattach the heatsink and fan.